I am looking at a massive business deal that needs some serious cash. Dylan Leaf says, getting straight to the point. Kevin Kim just shrugs. Let us see what you can actually bring to the table. They walk inside. Boom, Kevin stops dead, that totally fake corporate smile he always wears. Poof, gone, replaced instantly by a huge, genuine grin, walking their way. Is an elegant guy, radiating the calm energy of an ancient scholar. Flawless like high-tier jade, Kevin bursts out laughing, so the old man finally let you out. My dad usually gets super bored sitting by himself. But the second he sees you, he talks non-stop, Papa Kim loves. Reliving his glory days, looping those same epic stories forever. Seriously, man. If you had skipped this today, I would have dragged you out myself. Now you and I really need to watch Dylan here, seeing this guy. He absolutely freezes, just totally stunned. His lips tremble, completely failing to form a single actual word. Vincent Chu, what is he doing here? Dylan is practically paralyzed, shocked to his absolute core, even in his worst nightmares. He never thought Vincent Chu would crash the Grand Jade Auction. And he is standing right there. Wait, Wu Chen Corporation only does real estate business. Since when does this guy even care about raw jade stones? Is he buying stock? Instantly, a heavy wave of pure dread washes over Dylan. Dark flashbacks of being totally crushed by Vincent hit him hard, leaving him totally helpless, and judging by the vibe here, Kevin and Vincent are clearly on incredibly good terms. But why? Seriously, how? Dylan trails right behind them, absolutely speechless, and then it gets wilder. Kevin literally throws his arm right over Vincent's shoulder. These two are way closer than Dylan could have ever guessed. Listening to them chat, he realizes even old Master Kim knows Vincent and treats him exactly like family. Why does Vincent get this kind of insane royal treatment? Dylan's brain basically short-circuits into a total system error. He totally ignores the massive internal screaming happening inside his head. Then Kevin introduces them. This right here is a new friend named Dylan Leaf. He has an insane eye for jade, the raw stones he picks. Basically always drop top-tier loot. If you ever need a guy, I will loan him out to work for you. Vincent keeps his expression totally, perfectly neutral. He just reaches his hand out toward Dylan. Hello, Mr. Leaf, again. He is not even trying to make things awkward here. He is just politely playing along, but get this, to Vincent, Dylan is nothing more than a massive walking loot box, just begging to be smashed open. As long as he keeps stealing Dylan's destined luck and his girls, the system keeps dropping epic rewards. This guy is literally a goldmine. Vincent has not squeezed all the value out of him yet, so why let him off the hook? Dylan, meanwhile, looks like he might pop a vein. He feels completely humiliated, totally played for an absolute fool. It is so insanely embarrassing. He wanted to use the Kim family's massive power only to find out they are practically best brothers with Vincent. Kevin clearly just sees Dylan as a lackey, a pure tool, and even offered to pawn him off as Vincent's lapdog. We know they were supposed to be equals, but in just 1 second, our guy got completely downgraded to total bottom tier. Dylan was so mad his brain basically blue-screened. Seriously, he would honestly rather swallow broken glass than ever work for Vincent Chu. He was the chosen one. He had a system. Why bow to some smug villain? He was no loser, flat out refusing to even shake Vincent's hand. Dylan glared daggers and basically spat. I will never, ever work for Vincent Chu. Push me, and I am walking right out that door. If things got really bad, he would just expose his true identity as a hidden heir to the capital's Leaf family. He would save his own neck, no matter the cost. But wait, look closely. A lethal spark flared in Kevin's eyes. He instantly caught the disrespect. You have got some guts, kid. Do you even know where you are standing right now? Kevin stepped up. A heavy, dark pressure completely crushed the space around them. I will give you exactly one more chance to fix your tone. Kevin then glanced straight at Vincent. Boss, what is up with this trash? You two got beef, Vincent Just shrugged it off, not really, I just kind of stole Lily Willow from him. Oh. And at the Jade Emperor auction, he tried outbidding me for some birdcage. Nothing crazy. Kevin's eyes practically bulged out of his skull. He froze, then burst into a totally mocking laugh. So, you are the famous Captain Cuck. He absolutely lost it. Oh man, I seriously do not know whether to thank you or just pity you. Honestly, because of you, my brother finally decided to kick that fake gold digger to the curb and dodge a massive bullet, I guess. You really did us a solid favor, but stealing a fiancé is still facts. Then Kevin's voice went ice cold. Dylan, my boss might be a nice guy who ignores petty drama, but here in Cloud City I am his brother. I cannot let this slide, plus you keep crossing him. That makes you a huge problem for me. Since you are on my turf, if I just let you walk out of here with all your limbs attached, our families would look like absolute jokes. Kevin laid it out. With pure mob boss logic, his killer aura flared like a starving wolf, eyes flashing with actual madness. Dylan felt his blood freeze, his whole scalp going numb. He stumbled backward. Game over. I am actually dead. Our guy never imagined that hitting up a simple Jade auction would be a one-way ticket straight to the grave. He wanted to buddy up with the Kim family, and now they literally wanted his blood, ready to snap his legs. Dylan wanted to cough up blood from sheer regret. What on earth was this nightmare scenario? Listen, if he knew the Kims and Vincent were tight, he would have jumped off a cliff before ever talking to Kevin. They hid it way too well. Dylan's face went bright red, veins literally popping on his fists, right as Kevin was about to signal his goons to attack. Vincent finally interrupted. Hold up, do not touch him. Too many eyes on us right now. It is a bad look, Vincent said super smoothly. Even though Dylan was completely out of line, he is the younger brother of a good friend of mine. I promised her I would not crush him. I cannot just break my word, right? Wait, her, like an older sister or a younger sister? Kevin's eyes totally lit up for the gossip. Vincent just smirked. Older sister, obviously. No way, Kevin basically yelled. You are bagging his sister. He tried to steal your fiancé, so you actually seduced his big sister. Wow, just wow. Absolute madness. That is insanely badass. As expected of the boss, you are my hero. Total respect. Honestly, I'd do the exact same. Kevin's eyes are actually glowing with pure awe. That fury erased, all his killer intent just fading into thin air. He stares down Dylan with a look of pure, insulting pity. Meanwhile, Vincent casually slaps the back of Kevin's head. Hey, watch your mouth. His sister and I just friends for now. We clearly haven't hit that milestone quite yet. Kevin shoots him a massive, knowing wink. Loud and clear. Not yet just means soon anyway. Who gets you better than me? Kevin's previous hostility totally gone. He just smirks at Dylan, eyes narrowing into happy little crescents. So, my future brother-in-law, why keep quiet about that, man? Look at me treating you so poorly. Brother-in-law, my foot. Dylan totally erupts, face contorting in blind rage. You and I can see they're treating him like actual garbage, casually discussing his sister, making bold moves, trying to claim the new brother-in-law title, flexing his plan to steal her right to his face. How could Dylan not absolutely lose? It's like his worst possible insecurities are getting dragged right out into the open for everyone to laugh at. They're treating the women of his family like cheap trophies waiting to be claimed. Vincent, you keep wearing that fake nice guy mask. Everyone knows you're an absolute monster. Dylan screams furiously. Let me make this clear. It is never happening. As long as I'm breathing, you'll never touch my sister. Dylan looks like a cornered rabid dog, baring his teeth, eyes completely bloodshot. Zero main character aura left here, and this unhinged freakout, it naturally draws the eyes of multiple VIP guests in the hall. People just stop to stare, inching closer out of morbid curiosity. Who's got a death wish? Throwing a massive tantrum inside Kim family territory, Kevin's gaze snaps freezing cold again. He gestures to the guards. Brother-in-law, you're really not looking too sharp. Head to the back room and cool off. We'll talk when your brain is Actually working right, two giant bouncers lunge forward instantly, snatching Dylan to drag him right out the door. Dylan panics hard. If he gets detained, his entire goal of visiting Cloud City for big investors and fast cash is a massive, total failure, pure despair. Floods his eyes as he frantically scans the giant crowd. Suddenly, he spots this very familiar, breathtaking silhouette. "Save me," he shrieks out at a woman rocking an elegant, minimalist black swan evening gown who just stepped right into the giant hall. Following Dylan's totally pathetic cry, the whole crowd turns to look. Instantly, everyone's eyes light up. We definitely know her, the head of the Shen family. Stella Shen, the boss literally known as the Queen of Thorns of Cloud City. Stella really went all out for tonight, her bold red lipstick and perfectly flowing hair slightly soften her usual ruthless boss aura, adding a nice touch of enchanting, deadly beauty. Those tattoos on her right arm are veiled beneath sheer black silk sleeves. It leaves just a hint of a rosebud peeking out near her collarbone, a dangerously seductive detail, and that black swan gown perfectly hugs her jaw-dropping curves, making every guy in the room fight the sudden urge to wrap their arms around her waist. Hearing Dylan's pathetic cry, Stella stops, looking genuinely taken aback. A stiff, super awkward smile touches her lips. But a second later, her eyes completely bypass Dylan and lock straight onto Vincent. Her face instantly lights up with total joy. "Vincent, I knew you would come," Stella says cheerfully, practically gliding right past Dylan. "Let's see how you escape." My grasp this time. Hearing that, Dylan's whole body violently shook, that little spark of hope in his eyes, frozen completely solid. Are we seeing this? Utter horror and total disbelief crash down. Impossible. Look at this. Why is Stella suddenly acting so flirty with Vincent? No freaking way. The Kim and Shen families are literal blood enemies. How could Stella get cozy with a rival's friend? And that insane look. Back at the office, she never once looked at Dylan like that. Gentle. Bursting with affection, Dylan felt his brain completely short out right there. 1,000 questions flooded his mind. Stella, his supposed perfect lifeline, was looking at Vincent with pure desire and playful teasing. It was a reality he just could not stomach. Stella was his main target. They had some real chemistry going. He totally thought he was winning her over, realizing she wanted Vincent. That hurt way worse than knowing Kevin was his best bro. Why though? A wild beast roared inside him, but his body stayed totally pinned by Kim family security, a guard's knee brutally crushed into his spine, smashing his face into the floor. Vincent's maxed out charm clearly did not work on guys. If Dylan suddenly became a girl, maybe he would get that insane magnetic pull, but right now all Dylan saw was pitch black. The world spun. He could barely breathe, ignoring his muffled cries. Stella walked right past him like he was a piece of furniture. She completely ignored Kevin, flashing her most seductive smile at Vincent. "Why are you just standing there? What happened?" Then she gracefully stepped forward, her black lace-gloved hands sliding so casually around Vincent's arm. To everyone watching, they looked like the ultimate power couple, a total heavenly match. But for Dylan, just like taking a meteor straight to the face, the most soul-crushing scene he had ever witnessed. It dealt maximum emotional damage, leaving a completely permanent scar on his ego. It felt exactly like being a teenager and watching your sweet, innocent crush turn around and hop onto the back of the school bully's motorcycle. The sheer contrast, feeling like his whole universe was broken yet suffocatingly real, almost made Dylan pass out, just like seeing a high-class lady voluntarily ride shotgun in a rusty pickup truck. While his own luxury seat stayed completely empty, Dylan just felt his teeth grinding to dust. Let us be real, nobody cared about his mental breakdown. Everyone else was way too busy wondering who this Vincent guy was to win over the ruthless Stella Shen. Now watch closely. The Willow family, hiding in the crowd, also pushed forward, seeing Vincent as the absolute center of attention. They completely froze up. Mr. Willow quickly dragged his wife and Daughter back into the shadows, terrified of getting spotted. His face turned green. Why is Vincent here? Is he not running Wuchen over in Jiangxi City? How does he have time for a jade auction? This is bad, Lily Willow. Recognizing Kevin Kim and hearing those whispers had a sudden, absolutely terrifying realization. That arrogant thug hanging out with Vincent, he is the young master of the Cloud City Kim family. Lily was totally stunned. I thought he was just some street punk. How does he have this insane background? And I actually... All right, you and I are diving right in. Lily gasped, pure panic hitting her hard. This meant tonight's entire auction was run by Kevin's family. She was standing right on his turf. Realizing this, she yanked her collar up, hiding away, terrified Kevin would spot her. That guy was an absolute psycho who handled everything with his bare fists. He had secretly warned her to treat Vincent better before, but she completely blew him off. Honestly, if Vincent had not stepped in, Kevin would have slapped her senseless right there. She still had brutal nightmares about it now, watching Dylan get shoved into the dirt. A sick, twisted kind of joy flashed through Lily's eyes. She didn't say a single word to warn him. But seeing Stella clinging to Vincent's arm, her pupils shrank. A completely psychotic, overwhelming urge to destroy Stella suddenly surged right inside her. That arm was supposed to be mine. That wretch stole him. Just like Dylan's sister, they deserved to die. Her incredibly aggressive glare did not go unnoticed. Stella instantly felt it. She shot an absolutely freezing side-eye straight toward Lily. Such a disgusting look. Stella mentally locked onto Lily's face right then. Outwardly, she showed zero reaction, but she made a mental note to hunt this woman down later. She completely refused to let some random woman aim that kind of hostility at her. Threats like that had to be crushed immediately. Meanwhile, as the Willows hid in the shadows, Kevin just chuckled darkly, casually explaining the whole situation to Stella. Of course, he conveniently skipped the part where Vincent hit on Dylan's sister. I don't know him, Stella stated, sounding completely cold to Kevin. Do whatever you want. Now stick with me here. Anyone opposing my man is begging for death. Her words were pure ice, completely focused on defending Vincent. She made her stance crystal clear. She stood with Vincent. Anyone having a problem with him had a massive problem with her. Dylan felt tossed straight into a freezing meat locker. His entire heart just shattered into a million tiny pieces. He remembered how he used to act, so aloof and mysterious, while hitting on Stella inside her office. Looking back now, he realized he must have looked like a total clown. She was already madly in love with Vincent, thinking about his pathetic failed confession and his cringy attempts to play hard to get made him sick. I am so incredibly handsome. Why didn't she fall for me? Why act like she never knew me? Shouldn't she have fallen for my charm like Lily? Dylan simply could not comprehend this at all. His brain was officially mush. As the crowd swelled, Kevin ordered his men to drag that clown Dylan away and lock him up until he sobered up. Since he was the future brother-in-law, they wouldn't actually kill him. Keeping him breathing to face endless psychological torture was honestly way more entertaining. This was just a fast interlude. After Kevin gave a very quick apology over the mic, the crowd dispersed. Now watch Vincent look down at Stella. This fiery queen barely reached his shoulder. He teased, Miss Shen, you are really scaring me. What if you kidnap me and lock me in your basement? Stella just giggled playfully. Since you already know the ending, why don't you just surrender right now? Don't resist and never cry for help. Whatever and whoever catches my eye has never escaped my grasp. Stella pressed in closer, practically gluing her body to Vincent, refusing to let go. Vincent could easily feel the soft pressure and her intoxicating perfume. He didn't know whether to laugh. Stick with me, the drama is starting. Are you sure I'm yours? Vincent kept teasing her, totally unbothered by the jealous glares from the room. Then Stella just went on her tiptoes. Bam! A bold, bright red lipstick kiss planted right on Vincent's cheek. Now nobody can steal you away. Her eyes crinkled up into the happiest little crescents. Standing right there, Kevin suddenly found the ceiling absolutely Fascinating, he just stared at the chandeliers, secretly laughing his head off. The Jade Auction was barely kicking off. The Kim family essentially gave the VIPs plenty of time to mingle and check the goods, but suddenly this older mob boss from Macau swaggered right over with his muscle, clicking 2 jade balls in his hand. His eyes absolutely blazing with pure rage. This guy, Richard Long, glared a hole through Vincent, or more specifically, through Stella's hand gripping Vincent's arm. Who exactly are you to let Miss Shen hold your arm? You are garbage. Back away, she's way out of your league. Richard violently cut off. Their path, spitting pure venom, stopped out of absolutely nowhere. Vincent narrowed his eyes at this guy with the terrible mustache. That easygoing smile vanished. Completely ignoring Richard's tantrum, Vincent just looked at Stella. Is he with you? Stella was having a great time, but spotting Richard instantly made her entire mood nosedive hard. Pure irritation flashed in her eyes. No, he is a sleazy Macau businessman, a total scumbag running casinos and jewelry rackets. He is basically one of my family's biggest jade clients, she whispered quickly. Kevin immediately stepped right in front to completely block Richard. Get lost. Do not force me to throw you into the gutter. You seriously want your reputation destroyed in front of everyone tonight? Kevin was trying his hardest to keep it cool. This was his turf, and he honestly did not want a total brawl. Richard just gave a nasty smirk. I came to give a warning. Stop playing with fire. You seriously cannot afford to cross her real backer. Richard locked those dead eyes straight onto Stella. I hope Miss Shen knows her actual place. You know exactly how the Dragon Syndicate boss feels about you, so do not mess this up. It would be a total shame if your family crumbled. You know exactly how. You even grabbed control of the Shen clan. Do not ever forget who actually handed you that throne. You are playing a very dangerous game here, and you will get this kid killed. But hey, if he is just some disposable boy toy, whatever. Richard spat out the words, voice dripping with heavy malice. He glared daggers right at Vincent. I do not care who you are or what sewer you crawled from. Stella belongs to the Dragon Syndicate. She is his absolute favorite. You have zero right to even breathe near her. If you want to live, be smart. I delivered the message. Figure it out. Dropping that heavy threat, Richard turned and strutted right toward the courtyard VIP section, his face radiating just absolute top tier arrogance and utter disgust. But hearing the name Dragon Syndicate, Vincent's heart instantly skipped a massive beat. Dragon Syndicate, that name sounded way too familiar, and then it finally clicked. We are looking at a completely insane crossover of multiple novel universes. First, we had Dylan Leaf, the ultra-wealthy protagonist from that tycoon story, and now the Dragon Syndicate. If Vincent was remembering this right, that was ripped straight from a book called Dragon Over the World, a total classic Dragon King returns trope. Packed with that whole 100,000 soldiers await your command cliché. If he was right, that overseas mob boss was actually the legendary overpowered Dragon King protagonist himself. But why on earth was the Dragon Syndicate connected to Stella, a female lead from a completely different story? Vincent figured his own transmigration caused a massive butterfly effect, smashing different storylines together. Richard's sudden arrival just proved it. This guy was definitely a Dragon King henchman. Back in the original plot, when the Dragon King hit Macau to flex and got disrespected by local thugs, one call brought this exact guy, Richard, straight over to wreck them. Classic NPC behavior. Then real panic hit Vincent hard. The Dragon Syndicate was leagues above Dylan. Dylan was just a rookie starting from scratch, but the Syndicate, an absolute endgame faction, running things globally since Chapter 1, compared to his current Wuchen corporation. They were a terrifying mountain looming right over his head. Plus, Vincent had this heavy gut feeling he was destined to clash with them. Eventually, he would have to throw down with the Dragon King himself. Battle lines were officially drawn. As for Stella Shen, he had to make her his, whether it was the Dragon King or some insane, overpowered protagonist blocking his path. He did not care, being threatened by the syndicate meant an all-out war was coming. You and I know he needed to start using his future knowledge to lay traps immediately. This way, when the Dragon King finally returns, he could trigger an instant counterattack. The system was definitely about to force a choice. Vincent realized, his mind racing. Bring it on. Time to farm these villains. He genuinely hoped the system dropped some massive lifespan rewards soon, because building a massive global, or even an interplanetary corporate empire required actual immortality to enjoy. Otherwise, all this crazy grinding would just benefit whoever outlived him. Vincent's blood was absolutely boiling with fighting spirit now. Broken main characters did not scare him at all. His only real fear was the system lagging on new quests. Meanwhile, he officially added this Richard guy straight to his hit list. The very first chance he got, Richard would totally disappear. With eyes flashing pure danger, Kevin leaned right into Vincent's ear. Don't sweat it, boss. If the syndicate actually comes for you, I've got your back. Even if they wipe me off the map, I'm not scared. My dad feels exactly the same way. You know me. I just cannot stand arrogant punks like him. Vincent actually felt a rush of warmth. Despite that insane power gap, Kevin was fully ready to ride or die for him. He locked this crazy loyalty into memory. He would definitely repay it later. Kevin immediately started plotting ways to mess with Richard. He flagged down a staff member, move his seat, toss him straight to the back row with the no-name media guys. The front is full. Stella, who had been absolutely seething with anger, actually chuckled, flashing Kevin a thumbs up. Good one, Kevin. I really like your style. Hearing this, Richard turned entirely purple. Kevin knew he repped the infamous syndicate, yet still dared to disrespect him like that. Exiled to the back row, he sat surrounded by random minor jewelers. Their combined net worth did not even touch his pocket change. Meanwhile, those guys way poorer were sitting right up front. It was absolutely infuriating. The Kim family knows absolutely nothing about survival, defying the mighty Dragon Syndicate just for some random nobody. He swore to report this upstairs, making the entire Kim family pay dearly. But right now, trapped here in Cloud City, let's watch him swallow that massive pride. He originally wanted to use Shen family power to crush the Kims, since Stella was. She was technically a syndicate pawn, but easily the biggest rebel in the room was Stella. Meanwhile, Richard sat completely isolated, surrounded by Kim family thugs. Shooting pure death glares, they completely froze him out, and the other guests felt that heavy tension. Honestly, you and I would avoid Richard too. Meanwhile, Kevin led Vincent straight backstage to VIP. Stella clung right onto Vincent like absolute superglue. Kevin just grinned. Technically, you are not supposed to be back here at all, but hey, since the Shen and Kim families might become in-laws soon. Good boy, Stella smiled, totally loving his smooth talk. You have got a sweet mouth, so tell your sister-in-law, where exactly did you find these raw stones? Myanmar. Kevin rolled his eyes. Wait until you are actually the boss's girl before you start bossing me around. That is just a matter of minutes, Stella declared, looking like a total queen. As long as Vincent comes home with me tonight, the deal is sealed. He can just stay home and let me totally spoil him. Kevin muttered back, keep dreaming, my boss is meant for greatness. The Chu family wealth in Jiang City matches ours entirely. Honestly, I think you should move to Jiang City, wear a maid outfit, and just wait for him to finish work. Stella rolled her eyes, her bright red lips curving right into a confident smirk. She did not even argue. She did her homework on Vincent recently. She knew Chu family power in Jiang City absolutely eclipsed hers. The Shen family had not even hit the 100 billion mark yet, mainly because the Kims just hoarded Cloud City resources. Vincent was the legitimate prince of a 40 billion empire. Making him her little boy toy was completely unrealistic. Stella softened her stance, forcing this guy to submit, totally impossible. Plus, her intense pride would never let her play traditional housewife. Her new baseline expectation was an equal partnership. Totally separate careers, absolute mutual respect and endless passionate romance. Vincent just silently watched them bicker. Finally, he just asked, "That guy from the Dragon Syndicate Richard mentioned. You are not scared of him," probing for her actual limits. Stella instantly went dead quiet. She lowered her head, losing all her usual swagger. Heavy, tense silence. She was absolutely terrified. You and I can see it. Her grip on his arm tightened up anxiously. Feeling weirdly relieved, Vincent looked at her forehead and smiled brightly. "I am not afraid of the Dragon Syndicate, nor am I afraid of any power in this entire world. That is a promise. I will absolutely crush them. I guarantee your safety and Kevin's. They cannot touch you. I do not need you to completely believe me right now, but keep a steady head. Do not ever let them dictate your choices." Vincent was not bragging or acting arrogant. He just stated the facts with a super calm, gentle vibe, yet those simple words carried immense heavy weight, bringing this amazing sense of total security. Stella nodded, whispering softly, "I do not want you getting hurt. They are super dangerous. But I will wait for you. If you ever fall into danger, my choice is made. I would sacrifice everything just to keep you safe." Vincent squeezed her delicate hand. Honestly, no more words were needed. Crushing the threat would prove everything. The romance between them deepened, taking a truly massive step forward. Kevin stood off to the side, feeling like a massive glowing third wheel illuminating the entire room. He just chuckled, already knowing the real deal. "All right, stick with me here." He officially treated Stella like family now. Don't sweat it. If the Syndicate pulls any shady stunts in Cloud City, they will absolutely bleed for it. But enough heavy talk. Check these out. Kevin pointed at the warehouse. "See these right here. The premium stones my family hauled in. Absolutely flawless. Perfect on the surface. Like I said earlier, boss, grab any rock worth up to 1 billion. It's all yours." Nearby, workers were carefully hauling some massive boulders. Even the absolute smallest was huge. The biggest one, it basically looked like a mini mountain that required a forklift. Every single rock showed off clear water lines and that undeniable, faint glow of premium jade hiding just beneath the rough surface. Vincent stepped right up, instantly activating that god-tier investment skill. Just one quick scan later, he was completely floored. These are insane. Almost all contain jade. Of course, Kevin proudly puffed out his chest. "We aren't running a charity." Vincent just pointed at a few giant rocks valued way over 1 billion. "What are you selling these for?" "At least 2 billion, Kevin confidently replied. "Don't sell them, keep them and cut them open yourself," Vincent warned him. "Inside, it's pure imperial green, maximum quality, zero cracks." Kevin and Stella just stood there frozen. Vincent sounded completely certain. It was literally like the guy had X-ray vision. Normally, they would call his bluff, but if Dylan Leaf could do it, why not him? Realizing his own bro had this god-tier cheat skill made Kevin lose his mind. If those giant boulders actually held pure imperial green, they would easily be valued at tens of billions. Marketed properly, they could pull in 20 or even 30 billion without a single second thought. Kevin immediately yelled for his crew to hide those exact stones. "Listen to the boss. We aren't selling these. Why let someone else profit? Boss, whatever we make 50-50 split, I will wire it straight into your bank." Kevin's eyes basically flashed with pure capitalist joy. "But even if we keep them, I'm displaying them tonight. I am going to call them the Supreme Dragon Slaying Stones." "Sounds awesome, right? We will cut them right before everyone." It makes the Kim family absolutely legendary and totally pisses off Richard Long at the exact same time. Stella just laughed softly. "I swear, whenever you hang with Vincent, your brain actually starts working." Vincent then calmly picked out a few more highly valuable rocks. Aside from the absolute top-tier stones he had hidden away, he left some premium stuff for the public auction. Naturally, the bids were going to go sky high, and Kevin was absolutely planting fake bidders in the crowd to jack up prices. Vincent paused. "Are you ready for this? Dylan and Richard are out there. They are definitely going to cause some major drama." Since that is happening, why don't I dig a massive pit and watch them blindly dive right in? Let's play a game. Now Dylan's system only showed the return on investment for items actively on sale. Vincent's eyes totally flashed with mischief. He quickly whispered his master plan. Hearing it, Kevin broke into a dark, totally villainous grin. With everything finally prepped, the trio headed straight toward the main circular stage. Stella sat down closely beside Vincent, waiting eagerly for the absolute chaos to kick off. Meanwhile, Dylan Leaf was trapped inside a pitch-black storage closet. Leaning hard against the cold wall, his hair was completely soaked. Water dripping down. You and I know exactly why. Kevin's brutal guards had just dumped a whole bucket of freezing ice water directly on his head. Kevin said, we gotta make sure he is completely sober before letting him out. They laughed. Dylan leaned against the wall. Dylan desperately chokes down his boiling rage, trying to analyze this brutal failure. He is completely lost. Where exactly did he mess up? His flawless master plan to muddy the waters between the Kim and Shen families for that massive funding was perfect. But the second Vincent walked in, the entire board flipped. Now he was getting absolutely and completely destroyed. Did Vincent travel to Cloud City just to target him? Or is it simply a coincidence? Let you and I be real here. Vincent was only visiting his buddy Kevin. Showing up at the auction made perfect sense. If he were actively hunting Dylan, he would have mocked him way sooner. Why wait until now? Dylan could not figure it out, so he just stopped trying. Still, a massive, crushing sense of doom settled deep in his chest. Without a solid intel network, he was too passive. He desperately needed to build a spy agency right now. He needed the initiative. Tonight could literally never happen again. First step, a spy master. Dylan plotted, carefully picking apart his mistakes. This disaster was a total wake-up call. He also needed a god-tier bodyguard. Someone fiercely loyal but super easy to manipulate. Ideally, a totally simple-minded brute, but finding someone insanely strong and totally clueless is incredibly rare. Watching the water drip from his wet hair, Dylan remained hyper-focused, but while thinking about finding that loyal bodyguard, an insane, totally unexplainable wave of emptiness suddenly slammed into him. It actually felt like the invisible thread tying him to his ultimate destiny had just been completely snapped, like a huge chunk of his future was permanently gone. The strange feeling was completely hollowing. Brushing his wet hair back, he realized he also needed a business genius to run his future empire. Damn it all, why did this awful empty feeling keep getting stronger? He needed a master hacker for cybersecurity, too. Dylan finally stands up, exhaling a deep breath, but the very second he remembered Stella's totally love-struck eyes. Gazing straight at Vincent, a massive headache slammed into him, absolutely sickening. He was literally inches away from total success, and Vincent just kicked the door down and stole his prize. It felt like needing to throw up but failing. Stella was a completely top-tier woman. Taming her was always going to be incredibly tough, even if she acted arrogant now. He figured he could slowly win her over. Later, standing at the absolute peak of the world, with wealth rivaling whole nations, she would naturally submit. Vincent, the legendary dragon. Syndicate, they were all just stepping stones. In the end, Dylan would be the sole victor. Wait, he was getting way ahead of himself. Better focus on the present. He just prayed Stella and Vincent's new romance would progress slowly, giving him more than enough time to completely flip the script. He was genuinely tempted to reveal his true identity as the Leaf family heir just to shock everyone. Honestly, that felt like the only way to beat Vincent right. Now stick with me. He adjusts his mood, knocks on the door, and tells the guards he is sober. One guard holds up 3 fingers. How many? 3. Dylan immediately felt completely insulted. Did they think he was an idiot or a literal toddler? He suppressed his boiling anger. 3, it is 3. I am sober, let me out. Slam. The guard shut the door right in his face. Dylan completely lost his mind. He pounded on the door. I got the answer. Perfectly right. Why will you not let me out? Your tone was too aggressive, the guard replied super bluntly. We are not testing your IQ here. We are testing your emotional stability. So he was the absolute clown here. Dylan stood completely frozen. Since when did these guards get so smart? He waited a few agonizing minutes, choking down his pride. He had to get out to see the Jade. He knocked once again, forcing this painfully bright smile. I figured it out. How many? The guard held up 3 fingers one more time. Dylan's eye violently twitched, just as the guard. Dylan almost bawled when they tried slamming the door again. Like, seriously, what now? He jammed himself right in the frame, totally calm, obviously. Then, boom, a genius. Idea's $300. No, 1,003.5 in the end, pure, unadulterated. Capitalism saved his skin. 10 grand later, and our guy walked out completely free. He cursed under his breath. Should have just bribed these guys from minute 1. Cash really talks. He stumbled off, looking like a total wreck, but still. Clutching that wallet tight, the guards shouted after him, "Hey, do not blame us. Boss Kevin knew you were loaded. Dropping some spare change is totally fine." The ultimate sobriety test, seeing if a guy can still negotiate a cash bribe. Buying your freedom definitely proves your brain is fully functioning again, right? Dylan could not tell if they were joking, but honestly, fair point. Makes twisted sense. Anyway, you and I need to watch this. He hit the courtyard. Completely packed, up on stage, Kevin Kim was hyping up the crowd. Dylan scanned the room, barely an empty seat left. Then, he spotted Richard Long. The one man who actually dared to defy the Kim family. This sharp veteran was chilling out back, totally isolated. Nobody sat near him, probably because everyone was terrified of the guy. Dylan smirked. If these cowards were too scared to move, then he, the Leaf family heir, would step up, his eyes locked on. Perfect opportunity. Richard Long had deep pockets. Buddying up with him right now meant Dylan could easily win back that $3 billion investment he lost earlier. Thrilled, Dylan figured Richard just hated the Kims. What he did not realize, Richard actually worked with Vincent's rivals. Clueless, Dylan just strutted right over and plopped down next to him, acting completely fearless. Richard barely even gave him a look, shaking his head in absolute disgust. He turned toward his Jade appraiser, leaning in. "The Kim family makes me sick," he muttered. "We are going to bleed them dry tonight. Do not fail me." The appraiser stroked his beard, looking ridiculously confident. "Relax, Mr. Long. When it comes to judging Jade in Cloud City, I am the absolute king." Richard completely trusted the guy. This old master had played this game for decades, helping him unearth truly massive fortunes in the past. Back on stage, Kevin wrapped up his speech. "Enough talking, let us start the main event." Staff wheeled out a raw stone, roughly the size of a basketball. Bright spotlights hit the rock. "This beauty right here comes from our absolute oldest mine," the host yelled. "We chipped away a thin layer of the outer crust. Now, anyone interested has exactly 10 minutes to come up and inspect it," Kevin announced smoothly. He waved his hand quickly. Stepping out of the glare, buyers instantly rushed the main stage. Grabbing their magnifying glasses and heavy-duty flashlights, Richard sent his appraiser up there too, shining a bright white pen light across the rock. He made a super quick judgment and walked back. "Not terrible," he noted. "Great texture inside, faint traces of green. Keep it under 2 million, and that is a solid bargain." Richard just scowled. 2 million, max return, maybe 5 to 8 million total, hard to say. Nobody sees 100% through solid rock. Richard grunted loudly. "That pocket change could not even cover one day at my casino." "Whatever, better than zero." "Relax, this is just the appetizer," the old appraiser reassured him. "But wait until you see what happens next." They spoke loudly, ignoring everyone. "So stick with me here." Dylan sits right nearby and deliberately speaks up. "Once cut, this thing is worth 12 million minimum." His cool, unshakable confidence instantly catches Richard's ear, but the boss just shoots him. Totally dismissive glare. His expert scoffs. "You are way out of your league, kid. You didn't even check the stage, just standing in the back row and running your mouth. Kids these days." Dylan does not argue back the hard facts. We'll do the talking. Once this fake expert gets humiliated, Richard will naturally come begging. 10 minutes pass. The fierce bidding starts at 1 million. With 100,000 jumps, a massive price tag, absolutely, but huge potential. Richard jumps right in, but the bids suddenly explode and lock at 3 million. He loses the whole thing. This makes no sense, the expert frowns. My guess was 2 million flat. Why did it jump so high? He senses something is totally off but cannot figure out what. The winning bidder instantly demands the raw rock be sliced. Right on stage, the heavy saws roar. Under the spotlights, a glowing bright green finally shows up. Anyone with a brain can see it is priceless. The crew shows the gorgeous jade right up front. Kevin smiles wide. Massive congratulations to Mr. Lee for 3 million. He just bagged top-tier pure green ice jade, rough market value. 12 million flat, huge win. Mr. Lee basically dances his way up there. Beyond hyped, he gives a fast speech about luck and destiny before stepping into a total swarm of offers from hungry jewelers. Richard tries to buy it, but Lee straight up refuses. Richard swallows his pride, deeply regretting holding back. Are you totally blind? He snaps right at his expert. You seriously missed that. The guy sweats bullets. Nobody guarantees 100%. I was 60% sure, and that is the absolute limit here. I knew it at jade. Richard glares hard, then slowly shifts focus to Dylan, pasting on a super fake friendly smile. And how should I call you, young brother? I am Richard Long, jewelry business boss. Dylan shoots him a cold look. Dylan. Leaf, brother Dylan, you have some insane talent. Richard flatters him perfectly. You called its exact worth from way back here, easily beating my guys. Where did you learn this? You and I know exactly what classic excuse is coming next. Dylan smirks. When I was a kid, I fell off a cliff, survived a wild accident, and just happened to find an ancient guidebook on stone gambling. Richard is completely hyped now. Wait, do you still keep that manual? I will pay huge money for it. Dylan sighs super dramatically. Tragically, after I read it all, my grandma used it as cheap firewood to cook her breakfast. Richard's brain is screaming. Are you kidding me? Even a blind ghost would never believe that trash. He realizes this kid is greedy and definitely will not share his real secrets, but he does not lose his cool. Dylan is a genius. Partnering up means he can make absolute bank. What a massive shame, Richard laughs. Well, as long as Grandma was happy. Anyway, how about you help me choose stones tonight? We split the profits 50-50. I will make sure you win big. I have the cash, you have the eyes. Perfect team, Dylan nods. The guy completely took the bait. On stage, Kevin keeps showing off raw stones. The prices and quality quickly climb higher and higher. Through the whole night, Dylan keeps feeding Richard the actual hidden values. The kids' accuracy is honestly terrifying. It makes Richard treat him with major respect, and even that so-called expert stops acting tough. But here is the tragic irony. Richard does not win a single bid tonight. Every single rock gets snatched by someone else at a price, just barely way below market value. Total madness. Guests were blindly bidding like maniacs, just casually dropping tens of millions. This wild frenzy was unheard of at regular jade auctions. Richard assumed everyone was just riding high off that first guy's insane luck. Meanwhile, Dylan caught Vincent lounging in the front row, sipping wine with this impossibly arrogant smirk. Wow, the sheer disrespect. Dylan shot death glares. Just wait for my funds. I will make you regret everything. But honestly, even with Dylan's god-tier eyes, by the end of tonight, Richard walked away empty-handed, furious. He blamed his rotten luck and those crazy bidders. In his mind, Cloud City was completely cursed. He hired a master appraiser and got zero use out of him. Up on stage, Kevin grabbed attention. The Grand Jade Auction is wrapping up. I hope everyone had a genuinely amazing night. Give it up for all our massive winners tonight. The room erupted. Clap. Clap, clap, total hype. Now, Kevin boomed straight into the mic. Let me introduce my brother, chairman of Jiang City's Wu Chen Corporation, a very genuine philanthropist and a top 10 outstanding youth of Jiang City, Mr. Vincent Chu. Vincent stood up, giving this super elegant bow, that warm smile of his one. The whole crowd over, Stella, holding his hand, stood up proudly right beside him. The applause went completely wild. Wu Chen Corporation was a massive local powerhouse deeply respected in the real estate game. Pretty much every single person recognized Vincent immediately. Besides the super bitter Willow family, everyone just stared with pure admiration, totally desperate to network. Kevin raised a hand, hushing the room. To welcome my big brother, who traveled all the way down from Jiang City. My dad gifted him 3 raw stones. Tonight, we are cutting all 3. Live for everyone to see. This is our grand finale, the crowd buzzed with heavy anticipation. Stick with me, we are about to see what young Master Chu picked. Nobody cared that the Kim family gave him these stones. I mean, it was their property anyway. Besides, watching a high-stakes live cutting is an epic way to cap off the night. They rolled the 3 rocks out. The first was the size of a whole desk, covered in tiny pores, a ridiculously thick crust, and absolutely zero green. Showing flashlight beams could not even pierce it, just a totally boring standard boulder. The second was smaller but packed way denser, like some random mountain rock grabbed off a trail, completely unremarkable to look at. Then came the third, washing machine-sized. This one looked insanely promising, visible water lines practically screaming out premium quality hidden inside. It sparked some intense curiosity. The crowd quickly analyzed the values. That huge one had to be worth tens of millions, if it is real jade. It is worth way more. As a raw stone, the third easily pushes 100 million. Those first 2 looked like absolute duds though. Cut open, they could trigger a billion-dollar miracle, but highly unlikely. Chairman Chu is definitely no pro. He probably just picked these at random. The odds are pure garbage. Kevin announced these 3 stones were originally valued by my family at over 100 million. Feel free to step up and inspect them. More people rushed that stage than ever before. Experts and old veterans swarmed the rocks, shining flashlights everywhere and whispering wild theories. Richard's hired expert sprinted up too, his clear mission: spot every single flaw and totally trash Vincent's choices. Richard absolutely hated Vincent for stealing Stella. Now watch him try to ruthlessly humiliate Vincent and mock the Kim family. All right, you and I are watching Richard and Dylan step up to these massive boulders. Brother Dylan, what's the verdict? Any jade inside? Richard asks. He is already scheming, but Dylan, cold sweat instantly drips down his neck. His system, completely blind, sees nothing but ordinary rocks. Why, well, get this, his cheat skill only shows profit margins for items actively on sale. Since these giant rocks are just gifts not up for auction, the system is useless. Dylan's heart sinking fast. If he messes up, his fake expert identity is finished. He quickly plays the mysterious MasterCard. These are massive, I must study them closely. He completely strains his ears, secretly eavesdropping on Richard's real hired expert nearby. He decides to just steal the guy's exact opinion to stay safe. Soon enough, the expert returns. Dylan clasps his hands behind his back, acting like some supreme grandmaster. You speak first, I will correct any mistakes. The expert respectfully gives his report. The first 2 are complete garbage. Fresh crusts, definitely not. From the old pit, way too thick, terrible muddy patterns. I value both at 10 million total. Maybe tiny scraps of jade, nothing huge. Hearing this, Dylan thinks makes perfect sense. Vincent is no main character. Zero cheat system for him. He was basically just guessing. Not bad. Dylan nods super wisely, patting the expert's shoulder. Exactly my thoughts. 10 million maximum. Hearing this, Richard gets completely hyped up. Time to destroy Vincent. And the third one, top tier. The expert practically shakes with excitement. Flawless color, absolutely insane texture where the surface broke. The green goes deep, probably 0 cracks inside, pure and vibrant. Dylan nods right along. Spot on. Pure absolute greed flashes across Richard's Face, I need that third stone. I am not leaving this city empty-handed. I will force the Kim family to hand it over. His brain spins up a seriously toxic plan. The inspection clock hits 0. Time is up. The experts share their verdicts, those first two rocks confirmed complete losses. The third is a total wildcard. I highly doubt they hit anything good, one guest whispers, but it is pocket change for Chu. Here is where you and I need to watch closely. Cutting time, they all crowd. Straight around the massive saw, Richard takes his shot. He laughs out loud, a nasty sneer crossing his face. If you cannot read stones, do not play the game. You just embarrass yourself completely. That first rock is confirmed garbage, 10 million at most. Little Chairman Chu, go buy a few hundred cheap pebbles to practice on. First, slicing a rock that huge just to get gravel, you will be the absolute laughing stock of the entire industry. Even a 3-year-old knows better. The Kim family probably knew it was junk and tossed you the scraps. Honestly, it really seems like your friendship is completely fake. This intensely arrogant speech is perfectly designed to shatter trust between Vincent and Kevin while totally humiliating both of them. Everyone just stares at him. The other pros agree the stone is absolute trash, but nobody else would say it so brutally. Sir, what makes you so completely sure? Someone asks. Before Richard can even answer, his personal expert steps up. Based on my massive knowledge and deep industry experience, somebody instantly recognizes him. Hey, that is the vice president of the Grand Jade Auction, a literal legendary professor, backed by heavy hitter like that. Nobody dares to argue. Dylan immediately chimes in, laughing super awkwardly. Yeah, only a toddler picks that one, absolutely. Embarrassing, you can feel the cringe as nobody laughs with him, so he awkwardly clears. All right, let's watch this. Facing such blatant disrespect, Kevin just glared, wishing he could drag them into a dark alley for pure payback, but just as the boss predicted, these absolute fools took the bait. Kevin hid his smirk. Vincent tapped Kevin's shoulder. It is going perfectly, do not blow our cover now. Stella released Vincent, faking pure absolute rage. Jade or not, your big mouth does not make the rules. Even the World Association president cannot guess what is inside raw stone. Who exactly are you? Some nobody vice president from Macau. If you actually had X-ray vision, nobody would ever open a shop. We would let you scoop all the loot. Drop the ego or you will just ruin your own reputation. Her fiery performance earned serious respect. Instantly, Richard scoffed hard, then cut the rock. When it shows 0, you will realize how stupid you look. Cut it right now. Kevin barked at the crew. Tension grew insanely heavy. Richard causing drama on Kim territory was incredibly stupid, but honestly, anyone knowing his Dragon Syndicate connection was not surprised at all. Stella sat right down, winking at Vincent. How was my acting? Oscar-worthy, Vincent replied. Stella beamed. The workers marked the raw stone and fired up the heavy saw. Water sprayed everywhere. As the blade bit deep, a blinding emerald flash suddenly pierced right through the mist like fresh grass. It just kept getting brighter, turning the water vapor into this crazy, glowing green aura. Honestly, it looked way less like stone cutting and more like opening a portal to another world. When that green light flared, it shocked the entire crowd like a lightning strike. Jaws instantly dropped. The auction hall erupted into absolute chaotic madness. Solid green, it is. Totally solid. Check out that crazy texture. Bottomless emerald hue, top-tier ice. Type jade. I have literally never seen anything so gorgeous. It looks like dripping oil. That color is unbelievably rich. Absolute jackpot right here. Holy crap. My eyes lied. The crust totally tricked us. Imperial green. It is an imperial green treasure. The crowd completely lost their minds. Everyone held their breath as the machine finished cutting. A massive, totally flawless slab of premium royal green jade finally revealed itself, so utterly perfect it almost looked alive. Even the oldest jade veterans were losing it. Actual imperial green, clear as a calm spring lake. I cannot even look away. A piece this huge, how many bracelets can We make the pure value, I cannot even calculate it. Astronomical does not even begin to describe it. Those $50 million rocks are trash compared to this. You and I are witnessing history. That is not jade, that is cash. Chairman Chu struck absolute gold. Massive congratulations, Chairman. The rooms. Energy officially hit peak explosion. Meanwhile, Richard Long went totally frozen. His eyes bugged out, glaring at that imperial green. Impossible, he muttered in pure shock. His soul basically left his body. Why imperial green? The base value alone is 500 million. The rest cannot possibly be. Worse, Richard's eyes went totally bloodshot. His toxic greed spiked hard. Seeing Vincent getting rich hurt him way more than losing his cash. He was choking on bitter, raging jealousy. Barely minutes ago, he arrogantly claimed that stone was worth 10 million. Now, reality had just smashed him with a giant sledgehammer. His face burned fiery red. He was entirely too stunned to speak. Everyone turned, their eyes full of pure mockery. Richard just wanted to dig a massive hole. He spun toward his expert. Didn't you swear this rock was a complete dud? Explain this. Is this really how you do business? How on earth am I supposed to walk away from this? The expert completely panicked, sweating literal bullets. I mean, it cannot be perfect every single time. I only play the odds. Yeah, I totally missed this one, but they just got insanely lucky. Besides, Dylan here agreed with me. He acted like he had X-ray vision, and he completely missed it too. What could I even do? The expert smoothly threw Dylan right under the bus. Richard immediately glared at Dylan. Were you hiding your actual skills from me? Why were you so wrong? You owe me a real explanation. Dylan felt completely helpless. He really did not want to lie, but his cheat system did not work on non-sale items. He was absolutely internally screaming. He quickly passed the blame instead. This stone is totally rigged. I really have nothing to do with this mess. The Kim family definitely manipulated it all behind the scenes. Dylan played the perfect innocent victim. The so-called expert's eyes suddenly lit up. A perfect excuse. Listen, you and I know the Kims rigged absolutely nothing. Faking gifts holds zero profit, but to save his own skin, he jumped right on Dylan's bandwagon. Yes, the Kims treated this jade. That perfectly explains why those patterns looked so weird. They artificially aged. It totally blinded by pure greed. Richard bought their nonsense. He furiously grumbled, do not miss the very next one. I refuse to lose face again. Dylan and the expert nodded furiously, while the trio stood there looking absolutely roasted. Our main guy, Kevin, grabbed the mic. Oh, Mr. Richard Long, have you gone completely blind? Kevin just used Richard's exact own words against him, but Stella was way more savage. She snatched the mic and walked up to a random 3-year-old kid sitting on his dad's shoulders. Little boy, if this epic jade was yours, would you ever sell it? The kid, from a jeweler family partnering with the Kims, immediately answered flawlessly, no way. Even for 100 or 500 million, I would never sell. Only a total idiot would not want it. It is guaranteed profit. What a smart boy. Stella smirked, turning to Richard's very sad trio. Looks like some people have lived for decades but completely lack the brain capacity of a literal toddler. You are basically clueless. You guys better put on some diapers right now. You might actually wet yourselves when that second cut happens. Kevin and Stella's brutal tag team roasting left that trio way too ashamed to even lift their heads. The kid excitedly raised his hand, begging for the mic again. Stella smiled and held it right up. The kid loudly yelled, the person who picked this stone is totally amazing. That old catfish mustache guy was just talking absolute garbage. My teacher says stay away from bad liars. The entire crowd burst into uncontrollable laughter. Now, Richard's face was practically purple. He could not exactly curse out a 3-year-old without actually making himself look dumb. Kevin walked right over, gently patting the kid's head. Tell your dad to buy you an extra chicken leg tonight. The kid's family was absolutely thrilled. Knowing this little interaction just secured them massive future contracts with the Kims. Richard slinked to the side, angrily muttering, "Sharp-tongued witch." Meanwhile, the jewelers completely swarmed Vincent. "Now watch this." They were suddenly throwing out insane bids. Not in a rush, Vincent calmly replied, "I will decide after it is completely cut." "Chairman Chu, please do not," a frantic jeweler begged. "One cut to heaven, one to hell. It is worth 500 million right now. If you cut and it fails, value plummets. I will offer 700 million right now. I will take the risk. 800, 900 million, come on, sell it to me. I will pay way over market price." Vincent's ears were ringing. You and I both know these guys were totally feral if Max wasn't standing guard right there. They probably would have ripped his clothes right off. "I want the entire cut," Vincent demanded. "I swear I will sell some of it later." Meanwhile, Kevin and Stella shoved the wild crowd back. "You cannot blame them," Stella laughed. "Top-tier jade is insanely rare right now. Imperial green is getting hyped too. The absolute moon. Even billionaires are literally begging for it to make custom jewelry. They hate basic stuff." Vincent totally got it. The ultra-rich crowd loves exclusive flexes. He glanced over at Richard and Dylan, both of them sulking hard. They totally lost their minds over one tiny setback. How will they play the long game? Stella lined in close. "Those idiots will never see your master plan coming. They are going to bleed tonight. Nobody could talk our guy into stopping. Because he knew this rock was worth over 1 billion. That is easily triple. They're pathetic little offers." So when Vincent demanded a second cut, everyone just thought he was totally insane. Risk a 5 times profit, but given his massive wealth, 500 million was basically pocket change to him. The heavy saw went down again. More glowing green mist, an absolutely flawless cut. It just hit 1 billion. Some guy screamed out. Vincent didn't flinch. Third cut, 3 billion. The blade was basically bathed in the blinding light of that imperial green. The raw beauty was literally indescribable. The staff carefully placed the massive jade slab right on the stage and slowly rotated it. Kevin almost dropped to his knees to worship the guy. His buddy had suddenly turned into a god-tier appraiser. Stella's very last shred of doubt completely vanished. She stared at Vincent with pure idolization. Her feelings shifted. She realized Vincent wasn't just some guy she could easily manipulate. He was rich, powerful, capable, and honestly incredibly attractive. Any woman would literally line up for miles to be with him. How could anyone ever resist? That, she decided to stop overthinking things and just clutched his arm even tighter. Nearby, Dylan glared at the glowing imperial green, totally unable to hide his venomous jealousy. Starting price, 3 billion. If Vincent had never shown up here, that stone would be his. He would have partnered up with the Kims and walked away. With 1.5 billion, Vincent took his cash and he took the girl. Dylan was basically losing his mind until he made eye contact with those Kim guards who tortured him earlier. They were literally grinning at him from the crowd. The absolute terror of being locked in that dark closet snapped him back to reality. Those two sadistic old guys were just waiting for him to act up and drag him back. Dylan swallowed his anger. But hey, stick with me here. The Willow family was equally stunned. Mr. Willow had dreamed of scoring a god-tier stone to pay off his massive debts. Seeing Vincent casually win a 3 billion stone made him insanely jealous. The city courts were breathing right down his neck. He needed cash badly. Mrs. Willow stared at the jade with absolute greed. If Vincent was still our son-in-law, he absolutely would have given me a piece for custom jewelry. All the rich wives in the city would be so jealous. Why did we lose him? Lily's jealousy was basically burning a hole in her chest. She suddenly had a delusional hallucination. Vincent shoves that annoying Stella away, walks confidently right onto the stage and announces to the whole world that she is his true love, using the 3. She imagined him using that billion-dollar jade just to beg, walking down like a hero, taking her hand, pulling her to the stage, dropping to one knee. She was completely lost in this crazy delusion that a weird, drooling smile spread right across her face. A random bystander Noticed and backed away, disgusting. Has she lost her mind? Up on stage, Kevin kept hyping Vincent up, down in the crowd, an absolute bidding war, one jeweler literally insulted Richard Long just to score cheap points with Vincent, so our guy Vincent handed the auctioneer duties straight to Stella. She was a natural negotiator. Pushing the price up to 3.5 billion, Richard Long, unable to resist. The insane prophet swallowed his pride and joined the bidding war. A massive Hong Kong tycoon paid him to find top-tier jade. He desperately needed this to repay a huge favor to these businessmen. Pride is temporary, but cash is forever. Miss Stella, Richard called out, pure arrogance, not even trying to be polite. We are both members of the massive Dragon Syndicate. Do me a favor and give me this stone. I will pay 500 million. The entire room went dead silent. Hand it over to the syndicate, Richard demanded. 500 million cash, and in return for this, your Shen family gets the total backing of the Dragon Syndicate. You will absolutely rule Cloud City. The big boss will love your tribute. The crowd was livid. 3.5 billion for 500 million. That is literal robbery. Stella was completely disgusted. Is this your idea or the syndicate asking? Does not matter, Richard sneered back at her. Your loyalty matters. If the syndicate is full of trash like you, I am announcing my official exit tonight. Stella stood firm, her hair practically whipping in the wind. Her aura completely crushed Richard. Even if I kept this stone, I would smash it into dust before giving it to you. The entire room gasped, defying the Dragon Syndicate. That was pure suicide. Their global power was absolutely terrifying. But right then, a figure stepped in front of Stella, totally blocking her from the hostility. He gently grabbed her hand. Stella felt her anger instantly melt into warmth. Vincent stared coldly at Richard, his tone calm but absolutely final. I announce. Right now, Richard Long is permanently banned from this auction. Even if you offer $1 trillion, I refuse to sell to you. Starting today, the Kim family, the Shen family, and the Chu family are building a massive strategic alliance. We permanently cut all ties and refuse to work with every single group connected to the mighty Dragon Syndicate, especially you. Vincent locked his cold eyes right onto Richard. Go tell your bosses I took Stella away. I am destroying the very foundation of your syndicate. You want my jade for free. Bring the whole Dragon Syndicate to my door. I am not scared. Vincent just publicly declared war on the massive Dragon Syndicate. You and I know this is wild. People thought Vincent was totally insane, risking his entire empire for a woman. Richard started twitching violently. He felt deeply insulted by this disrespect. Can you even represent the Kim family? Kevin instantly jumped down from the stage. My boss speaks for the entire Kim family. Good, very good, Richard hissed violently, his hair practically standing straight up. You are going to deeply regret this. You will learn the painful difference between a bug and an absolute giant. Stella, you are finished. When the boss finds out, nobody can save you. Stella clung to Vincent and smiled sweetly. Do you really think the boss will protect me or protect you? Richard suddenly froze up. A terrifying chill ran down his spine. Wait, if the big boss learns Stella is with Vincent, he might actually take my side. You and I know Richard is terrified. He goes dead silent. Kevin leans into Vincent's ear. Boss, this guy is a pest. Should I end him? He makes a quick throat-slicing motion. Vincent simply shakes his head. Too many eyes here. We don't need any media drama today. Let him walk out alive. We will handle him in the shadows later. Vincent is definitely no hero. He is already marked Richard as completely dead meat. Kevin nods. Understood, boss. Toss him out now. No, Vincent smirks. With his ego, it would be a total waste not to lead him right into our trap. The real show is just beginning. Kevin instantly dials back his killing intent. Right, we wait. The room settles, but a massive storm is brewing. That imperial green jade sells for 4 billion to some giant national jeweler. Everyone else is totally gutted, but they instantly lock onto the second stone. Chairman Chu has wild luck. Let us See if lightning strikes twice, Richard mocks loudly. Newsflash, it absolutely does not. No way, that is another god-tier gem, even the actual god of wealth could not fake that. His expert nods along. Premium jade only drops once a decade. You are crazy to bet on it. Dylan watches from the sidelines. Honestly, he has to admit, Vincent's ruthless vibe and calm protection of Stella, absolutely badass. It is textbook main character energy. If that was me, I would tell Stella to handle it while I secretly leveled up to crush the syndicate later. Dylan feels a strange spark of respect but instantly crushes it. He is definitely just faking it. Just a dying dog barking. Sure, his luck is all right, Dylan thinks, but this second stone is pure trash. Who does he think he is? Some guy with a cheat system like me, but wait for it. Reality breaks their expectations all over again. The blade cuts the stone, and blinding purple light floods the room. Everyone's jaws literally drop. Purple violet jade Chilalan type, and it is pink purple, the absolute rarest kind. This gem easily rivals imperial green. It is fiercely chased by global billionaires and massive superstars. That purple aura is so elegant, noble, and totally hypnotic. Every woman in the room stares unblinking, their eyes filled with pure obsession. Vincent's net worth just jumped another 20%. Richard's face is burning red. He literally just trashed Vincent, and boom, another god tier gem drops. He sucks in a sharp breath of air, his eyes blazing with absolute madness. Why? How does Vincent get this insane luck? Why not me? Richard desperately needs that purple violet jade. A massive female tycoon in Hong Kong had personally demanded one. If he grabs it, his rank in the syndicate would skyrocket. He wants to command his guys to snatch it, but knows he absolutely cannot. Vincent already banned him from bidding. His expert is panicking hard. Mr. Long, nobody is 100% accurate. You cannot blame me. At least you lost no cash. Right? Richard snarls. Watching him rake in millions hurts way worse than me losing money. Now stick with me here. The third stone looks better than the first two. If those two brought in literal billions, what is inside the third? Dylan suddenly lines in. Mr. Long, we cannot let him win again. We have to steal that third stone before he cuts it. You see its real value? Richard asks. Dylan lies smoothly. I cannot see it exactly, but look at Vincent. He is way too confident. It is definitely going to hold jade. Richard thinks hard. You are right, but how do we force a sale? All right, you and I are about to watch Dylan's scheme. Here's the plan. Lead the crowd. Call this whole auction a giant scam. Accuse the Kims of hoarding the best stuff. Tell the guests they're only selling total garbage. Convince everyone it's a rigged game. Just look at those greedy jewelers. They'll back you up. And once that angry mob forces his hand, he has to sell the third stone to prove his innocence. Then you snatch it. Richard's eyes immediately lit up. Brother Dylan, you're an absolute tactical genius. Brilliant plan. Meanwhile, the desperate jewelers literally begged Vincent for his rare purple jade. Not for sale. Vincent calmly shook his head. I'm keeping this one for myself. Offers spiked to 3 billion, but the guy never budged. That purple jade, the ultimate flex to win over the ladies. Plus it was literally priceless for building alliances. The jewelers sighed in crushing defeat, but then Richard jumped on stage, playing the righteous hero. This entire setup is a massive scam. They're playing us for fools. The Kims rigged it all. They hid the god-tier stones for themselves and sold us trash. This auction is an absolute sick, twisted joke. I thought the Kim family was honorable, but they use cheap, dirty tricks. Richard's spit was flying everywhere. He played the absolute perfect victim. The crowd hesitated, muttering. Richard threw fuel on the fire, using Dylan's script to amplify their doubts. Those jewelers, completely blinded by greed for the jade, suddenly started glaring at the Kim family with heavy suspicion. Vincent shot Kevin a look. You're Q. Hold on, boss. Let me get into character, Kevin muttered, while violently pinching his own thigh until his face flushed bright red and his veins popped. His eyes went completely bloodshot. The guy looked ready to explode. Bullshit, Kevin roared like a totally enraged lion. The Kim family does strictly honest business. We never rig a thing, Richard sneered right back. Then explain why Vincent got the God-tier jade and we got nothing. You two obviously colluded, you son of a bitch. Kevin screamed, my family's empire was never built by scamming innocent people. Richard rallied the furious jewelers. Everyone here traveled thousands of miles and literally got nothing to show for it. Kim family, do you have zero shame? The jewelers joined the furious mob. Yeah, prove you're clean or we walk out, sell the last stone right now to prove it's a fair game. Vincent stepped forward, looking incredibly distressed. He practically wrung his hands together, acting exactly like a guy hiding a guilty conscience. Richard and Dylan were absolutely ecstatic. He's terrified. That third stone is definitely a massive jackpot. If you refuse to sell, close your shops, Richard demanded loudly. Vincent stared down the screaming mob. Fine, you want it, make an offer, but whether I actually sell it, that is entirely up to me. Vincent never explicitly promised a sale. Why? Because you and I know that triggers Dylan's system to perfectly reveal its true value. Vincent was brilliantly exploiting that massive loophole. The jewelers went absolutely wild. Bids jumped from 200 million to 1 billion. Then 1.5 billion, stopping at 2 billion. A sweaty jeweler screamed, 2 billion. It's mine. Vincent suddenly acted absolutely furious. You people make me sick. I am definitely not selling this to any of you greedy hypocrites. That sweaty jeweler almost completely fainted. Are you playing us? Yeah, I absolutely am. So what? Vincent sneered. He pointed straight at Richard. 2 billion. I'd rather sell to him than you. Two-faced snakes. Richard Long might be a completely despicable low-life scumbag, but hey, at least he's consistent. Being insulted to his face literally never bothered Richard. The promise. Watch this. The promise of God-tier jade had him totally blinded. I'll take it. Let me sign the contract right now. Richard frantically whipped out a standard agreement and signed it fast. Kevin grabbed it, faked some hesitation, and signed. The 2 billion was wired in a flash. Richard sprinted over, hugging the third stone like a baby while laughing like a total maniac. Fools, I just secured the massive jackpot. He glanced at the angry jewelers, feeling a huge wave of pure, absolute satisfaction. Richard couldn't wait anymore. He ordered his men to drag it right to the saw, smiling at Dylan. He bragged, brother Dylan, thanks to you I got this masterpiece. We are gonna be great friends. Dylan gave a smug smile. It was all your bold move, Mr. Long. Thank heaven I used a polite disclaimer earlier. Dylan thought to himself, completely unaware he just handcuffed himself to a sinking ship. The massive saw roared to life. The whole crowd held their breath, but as that blade cut deep, nothing, absolutely zero glowing mist, zero divine light, just the brutal screech of metal on solid rock and dirty mud splashing everywhere. Richard's heart suddenly skipped a beat. His cocky smile vanished fast. Clang, the giant stone split right open. Spotlights hit the fresh cross-section, and it was an ugly, rough surface with just a few tiny specks of cloudy, low-grade jade. It honestly looked like the rock itself was physically mocking Richard's massive ego. The crowd went through the 5 stages of grief in 5 seconds flat. Pure shock, total disbelief. Then it hit them. It was gravel, absolute trash. You could buy that for $5. On any corner. I wouldn't take that even if you paid me. Thank heaven I lost the bid. I'd be jumping off a building tonight. Looks like those first 2 blocks really were just crazy beginner's luck. The third one is pure garbage. Richard's mind instantly shattered. His blood pressure violently spiked. He stared hard at the worthless gravel, his vision completely blurring out. Impossible. The crust was completely perfect. It is fake. Cut it again. The miracle is hiding inside. The middle, he was in absolute, total denial. He just could not accept losing 2 billion. The second cut went down. Nothing but more useless gravel. Richard collapsed. His legs gave out and he slammed violently onto the cold stone floor. He gasped for air, looking like he was having a full-blown panic attack. The crowd quickly backed away, staring at him like a Diseased animal, his world went completely silent, pure, raw terror and absolute, bone-crushing despair. Fully consumed his soul, his jade expert completely panicked, losing 2 billion, that guy's entire career. Was finished, he would be the ultimate laughingstock of Macau. Dylan was shaking violently now. He quietly took 2 slow steps backward. I am dead, I am so unbelievably dead, if he stayed. Richard might literally hack him into pieces. Damn it, why the hell did my system not work? Seeing Richard completely broken, Dylan leaned in and whispered to the expert, my family has a huge emergency. I really need to go right now. Nice meeting you," without looking back. Dylan Power walked to the exit, breaking into a full 100-meter dash right past the doors. He completely vanished into the dark night. The Willow family, sensing the huge incoming disaster, chased after him like terrified little mice. Stick with me here. The entire courtyard completely erupted into an absolute massive hurricane of mockery. 2 billion for a pile of gravel. I could have grabbed a much better rock from my own driveway. Look at him. His soul literally left his body. He totally deserves it. He turned the whole mob against the Kim family. Chairman Chu actually scammed the biggest scammer. Chairman Chu didn't even want to sell it. Richard completely forced him to take that 2 billion. Haha, the god of wealth is definitely watching us. The crowd finally realized Richard had manipulated them all to steal the stone, only to accidentally purchase a massive $2 billion bomb. The jewelers who were insulting Vincent just the second they realized he saved their lives. Watch this. That heavy jeweler dropped straight to his knees, sweating bullets right in front of Vincent. Thank you, Chairman Chu, thank you for not selling that to me. I apologize for my complete disrespect. I'll compensate you. He slammed his forehead right into the floor, and those other jewelers followed his lead, violently slapping their own faces. I was completely blind. Richard trapped me. I am so sorry. What an absolute spectacle. These guys literally promised tens of millions in rare jewels just to say sorry. Vincent waved his hands, acting completely innocent. I seriously did not want to sell it anyway. It's fine. You guys were just manipulated. I really cannot accept these gifts. Well, if you absolutely insist. Our guy reluctantly took over 100 million in free loot. Vincent then strolled right up to a completely frozen Richard. Vincent let out a super dramatic sigh. I told you I didn't want to sell it. Why force my hand? Look at yourself now, a massive loser. Let this be a major lesson. Karma hits hard. Still, thanks for tossing me $2 billion for literal pile of garbage. Honestly, 2 billion is just pocket change for me anyway. Thanks. Anyway, that totally fake gratitude was the absolute ultimate flex here. Richard finally snapped awake. His face turned completely ghostly pale. He bit his lip until it literally bled, turned away and loudly groaned. The contract was signed. He was completely trapped. Still acting tough, huh? Kevin stepped right up, apologized to my boss, or I will break your legs right here. 50 massive Kim family bouncers instantly surrounded Richard's 3 puny guards. The guy was shaking with absolute pure rage. Losing 2 billion felt like 1,000 burning knives, but staring down these goons, he finally forced his heavy head down. Sorry, he barely muttered it. What? Cannot hear a thing. Vincent cupped his ear. A dead fish speaks louder than you. Kevin openly mocked him. Richard sucked in a massive breath, neck veins totally popping, and screamed at the absolute top of his lungs. I should not have accused you of cheating. I apologize for my actions. That scream echoed everywhere. Our guy Vincent just nodded, looking super satisfied. All right, fine, I am a forgiving man. Apology accepted. Man, making money is just so exhausting. He sighed, grabbed Stella's hand, and casually walked away. Richard scrambled right up, sprinting out of that estate as fast as humanly possible, leaving his $2 billion pile of gravel behind. Hey, Mr. Long, you forgot your precious rock. Kevin yelled this over the loudspeaker system, landing the absolute final critical hit. Thanks for sponsoring tonight's massive after party with your 2 billion. Drinks are on Richard Long, everybody. The entire crowd cheered, raising their glasses high. Kevin then walked right up to Vincent. Boss, want me to permanently erase him. Vincent's aura dropped to absolute zero. Do not let him leave Cloud City alive, make it clean. Already got our guys trailing him. Kevin smirked. I will handle the supervision. Take Max with you, boss. Stay safe. Kevin instantly vanished into the crowd to orchestrate the hit. Now you and I gotta see this. Vincent and Stella slipped to a peaceful vineyard corner, entirely lit up by fairy lights. It looked like a sky full of literal shining stars. Stella's eyes were hazy from the wine. Vincent, I'm so glad we met. The pleasure is entirely mine, Miss Shen. A single drop of wine traced right down Stella's lips to her elegant collarbone. Her expression suddenly turned incredibly melancholic. I just regret not meeting you way sooner. Being born rich, I was basically just a wind-up toy for my parents. I got this tattoo just to rebel, hoping to break their constant control. But a rose is still just a flower waiting to be picked. They actually forced me to marry some rich total trash, she whispers, locking eyes with Vincent, her defenses completely shattered right now. Gone, take a guess. Vincent pulls her in close. Wait, did you really actually murder that guy? Worse, Stella laughs, pure villain energy. I shot off his family jewels, point blank. Vincent nearly chokes on his drink. Then I ran, she admits, found the dragon syndicate. We erased his whole bloodline, marched right through the front doors of the Shen estate, dragged my grandfather off his throne, stole my father's power, and then exiled all my brothers, because taking absolute control was honestly the only real way to stay alive. Tears streamed down her cheeks now. If we met earlier, I would never have joined. The syndicate is literal hell. The boss wants me. I am totally trapped. I have zero idea what tomorrow looks like, but tonight I just want you. Those tearful eyes, completely fatal. Vincent's heart officially melts. Do my tattoos scare you? They are stunning, Vincent whispers, deadly yet so incredibly beautiful. Do you want me? Vincent nods. She blushes hard, a split second. Later, she just goes right for it, crashing her lips against his with intense, fiery passion. The tension here, unreal. And you guys, this is where we wrap up today's wild ride together. This insane story officially ends right here. If you enjoyed the drama, hit that like button and subscribe to keep this channel alive. See you soon.